Hello everyone, and we are going to uncover the mysteries of the Lost Tomb of Otorongo. Doing so will earn you the Knowledge is Power trophy. Now you're going to start this when you first meet Javi. He's going to give you the retractor skill for your grappling hook, and it's going to be very early in the game. So this is going to be my loadout. I really want to show you my mods here. It's very important here. Length effect, deactivate. Power yank, set that to none. I didn't do that and it caused me a lot of trouble. In retract speed I have it at fast, but you want to definitely have your power yank set to none. So let me give you a demonstration of what this is going to look like. You're going to move a lot of these big boulders into holes. Think of it as like golf. You got a big ball, you're trying to get it into a tiny little hole. So with this setup, you can throw down multiple tethers, and at a great distance you can move the boulder pretty efficiently and fast. So let's go move it back. I'm going to throw 2 tethers back the other way, but instead the third one I'm going to throw short. The boulder will only go as far as the shortest tether is. So when it reaches that first point, that shortest tether, it's going to stop. So you're going to have to recall all your tethers to throw down more tethers to get it to keep moving. Very important. I didn't know that until after I completed this. So anyways, here's the first Javi mission. I'm going to skip forward to the end where you actually get to the tomb. You're going to do a helicopter bit and a whole bunch of things, or a plane rather, not a helicopter. And you're going to get to this tomb. And this is kind of basically a tutorial. You're going to find these switches you're going to pull. You're going to have to use your tether to pull the arm down. It'll release a boulder. At this point, just like golf, we're trying to get the boulder into a kind of a hole. It's a pressure plate. And that'll open up a tomb that we can get a clue to the final resting place of Otorongo. So for this one, we're just going to drop down this hole. I'm going to do a lot of cutting in this video, so it's not 45 minutes long. I'm going to come down. Once I'm down here, I'm going to use my tethers to pull the boulder onto the plate.
Can you use the retract to get the UMA to the mechanism?
Now, once you've done that, it's going to open up a tomb, and we're going to go in there, light a candle, and catch a phrase. There's 6 phrases. Those 6 phrases together, Javi's going to come up with the final resting place of Otorongo.
And be ready for anything. It must be the vault where Sumak sleeps eternal.
So again, I am going to edit this a little bit for time, just because I didn't know how to efficiently move the boulders, so I struggled with a lot of it, and it took a lot longer than it needed to. But if you had that setup that I showed you at the very beginning, you can move the boulder efficiently and to where you want relatively quickly. Now, after you've completed that first little tutorial, you have 5 additional tombs pop up and kind of on your mission quest log under Javi, under the J. So let's go to the first one here. This is going to be Aleko Aku. I don't even know how to say these names here, but it's going to be just left of that. And when you get close to it, you're going to have a marker on the map, but otherwise you have to know where they're at. They won't pop up on your map until you actually discover their location. So from that jump point, you're going to see there's a big hole in the ground. This is a massive cave system down here, and it can very easily, you can get lost down here. So I'm going to jump down here. There are half a dozen different avenues out of this big opening here, and one of them is going to lead you to where the handle is that we need to release the boulder. And I'll show you on the map which direction I'm facing, just so you can get your bearings. At this point, I'm trying to get my bearings. So once I get my bearings, I'll allow you guys to get your bearings here. I believe it's this way. So let me just go up here. Let me just double check. This is definitely going to be it. Now this is number 2. Again, you only had 5 listed on your quest log because that first one was part of another mission. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's open up the map. You can see the direction I'm facing. That is where I'm heading once you drop into this cave system. So go through this little doorway. You're going to see the handle right in front of us. Use our tethers to pull it. That is the lift tether. We do not need a balloon. So once you pull it, sometimes you have to pull it a couple times. I think because I have it set to fast, it doesn't register it. But eventually the boulder is going to come down This one is going to kind of find its way into the hole automatically. It's kind of a funnel. If you can picture a funnel, it'll eventually make its way down like a drain. The water is going to eventually find its way down. You want to speed things up, use your tether. Feel free. Make sure you have your yank set to 0. If you or none rather. If you don't have a set to none, you're not going to be able to attach multiple tethers to the boulder, and that is kind of where I went wrong. I was able to do it eventually anyways. I'm just trying to tell you guys the fastest way. And down the drain it goes eventually. All right, so it just released the opening of the door, so now we just have to go and light the candle, read the next phrase. Now, in a game that has an awful lot of repetition as far as the mission structures go, I really did like these kind of these little side missions. I wish there was more like this in the game. Of course, the game is all about blowing things up in the most creative manner possible, and that's not really what this is about. So, but nonetheless, I really did enjoy this quest line. All right, so light the candle. Another sentence on the wall. And moving on to number 3. This is going to be on the top right corner of the map. And this one is a very, very long one. And this is where I really wish I had my tethering down in the proper setup. But as you're coming down, you can see the hole right there in the center of that structure and the runes there in the middle of the grass. Well, we have to carry the boulder a long distance. So make sure you have the proper tether set up because it'll make this a ton easier. So here's the handle to release the boulder. I'm going to do a lot of cutting here just because you know where it needs to go and you know how to do it.
You said you had a part in sanitizing this place.
Archaeologists and Solis are trained to
And it took me a good 6 or 7 minutes to finally get it over there because I didn't have the yank set to none and was only able to attach one tether at a time, which doesn't extrude enough force on the boulder to get it really moving. So it was like moving it like 6 inches at a time. It was really terrible. But if you're not able to place multiple tethers down, you don't have the right setup.
What was his name?
Sadly lost to Espinosa.
And my favorite part of this is just the people who just can't get out of the way. We have these other people back there who are running away, and this dude here in the white shirt just kind of sitting there staring at the boulder. He's still sitting there. All right, so now we're going to take this path over off to this right-hand side the way I'm going, and it'll lead you across a bridge. Hopefully you can make it across the bridge if you line it up just right. If not, it'll go in the water. There is a lower point just up ahead where you can get it out of the water. And eventually you're going to get to these stairs. If you have the proper tether set up, you'll have enough force to get the boulder up there. I did not because I had it set wrong, so I just used some lift here from the balloons to get it up and over. You shouldn't have to do that. And then this is where the plate is located. So just pull it onto that plate and let's go light the candle.
We struggled to solve this riddle in my youth. When it defeated us, we simply built this.
Now, after you get all 6 of these, there is one final long, lengthy thing that we're going to have to do, and that is part of actually finding the tomb of Otorongo. All right, so next up, this is kind of near the starting area in the middle of the map. Now, this one has 3 boulders and 3 plates that we need to get them on. So as we're coming down, you'll see one off to the left. There's one over to the right-hand side of the screen. You can faintly see it. And then there's going to be one up north from there. So this is the only one as part of the initial 6 where you need to get more than one boulder onto a plate. The final one that we have to do is going to require 5. And a couple other things. But here is going to be the first lever. It didn't register for me the first few times. Eventually it'll release the boulder. It's making its way down there. You're going to have to go down there though. It's not going to just automatically get into the right spot.
But I'm inclined to believe if the Espinosas taught it, the opposite must be true.
So again, I'm only able to use one tether at a time because I didn't have the right setup. But that was no issue for me. So we're going to go back up the hill. We're actually going to go basically from where we jumped off. And then go to the opposite side once we get up there. So there's just 2 more left here. All 3 of these are relatively easy. So here is our next point. Release this to see if we can't get this ball in the hole. Does remind me a lot. It's like miniature golf, but not miniature.
It is nonsense.
You have a soothing voice, Javi Huerta.
So you can see we're having just the use of just one tether at a time kind of makes this a little bit slower going.
That's 2.
All right, time to go climb back up the hill. And we will find the 3rd and final one.
How are we doing, Sargento?
This will get you, of course, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the Knowledge is Power trophy.
I'll keep my eyes open.
And none of these things they don't really tell you where they're located. You can highlight each of the different side quests from Javi. It'll kind of show you on the map, but it's not the actual location. So it takes a lot of exploring. So hopefully this helps you figure out the locations. But I do in the description will have a timestamp for each of these if you just want to know what they are, so you can maybe find, do the puzzle yourself, figure it out on your own. Okay, release the final boulder.
Suggests that Otorongo's offspring were not yet considered adults by the society at large.
And the actual tomb itself is going to be at the top, so we'll have to climb this hill again.
To prevent the line from continuing.
And there we go. That will be the 3rd and final one. So we just have to go find the tomb, which, as I mentioned, is back up the hill.
See, please do.
In retrospect, I probably could have edited this a little bit. But we're almost at the end, so why the hell not? Alright, so let's go light the candle. Let's move on to number 5. This is going to be way up north. There's going to be a cove here. And this one is easy if you could just find it. It's pretty well hidden. So we're going to drop down. You can actually see the end, the hole there that we're trying to get on the plate. But unfortunately, it's going to bust through this wall that is currently sealed. And it's hidden inside this mountain. So we're going to go inside. And you can do that by flying down here. Or just grapple regularly, normally, if you like. So we're going to go inside this cave, inside the cove here. And then we're going to get to the end here. And it's going to look like we've come to a couple dead ends. But if you look up, there's going to be exit points. So right here, there's an exit way up high. It's pretty well hidden. It's hard to see. And then we're going to drop down. So up and over. And then get to the end of this. And then we're going to look up again. And there's going to be a big room up here. Kind of an old, hidden, abandoned village lost to the ages. And there's the wall the rock is going to break through. We just need to find the lever. This one's easy because you're going to get a hole in one. All you need to do is just pull the lever, get the boulder, and didn't come down. So let's do it again. Let's do it again. There it is.
This tomb is thought to belong to Otorongo's wisest
So this, you
advisor.
just have to wait.
We call him El Sabio. The Espinosa narrative would have us believe he was a monster sorcerer and occultist.
Let me guess. None of that is true.
His name is lost, but the legends of his wisdom,
And eventually we'll find the clue, much to Javi's delight, of course.
by Espinosa's archaeologists.
There it is, hole in one.
El Sabio's vault is open.
Let's see what secrets he has for us.
And that is the 5th clue. So let's go and move on to the 6th and final one. These are in order from what they were in my quest log. I'm not sure if this is the same for everybody. This is going to be kind of near where the beginning is again. And we are going to glide down to it. Now this one I had a little bit trouble because I had the one tether at a time ability. I didn't have the option to tie multiple tethers, which would have made this a lot easier. So there's a big hole here that we need to get the boulder to go down, and that'll take it to a subterranean level. And it's over here to the right. That's where we're trying to get the boulder into for now. That's step one.
But I think it is clear that they were loyal comrades all the same.
Why's that?
Would you have taken such great care to
Gotta get it up this tiny little hill here. Multiple tethers would have made this very easy. All right, so just now got to navigate it down the big hole here. All right, so once you're down here, it's very straightforward. You just have to get it to the end of the first path, and it'll hang. You take a left. I'm gonna drop into the water here. So I'll edit this a little bit for time. Just because it wasn't very pretty with my single tether. Alright, so you're going to get it down to this path and then take a left. And then once you get to the very end, it's going to drop down right onto the plate. So it's pretty easy once you get it down there. Reveal the final clue. Javi will then take all the clues, put it together, figure out where the Lost Tomb of Otorongo is located. And for you, in order to get the Knowledge of the Power Trophy, you got to complete one more quest.
Fascinating.
And it's simple. Just go to Javi's marker on the map. Now, you're going to have a cutscene here once you've talked to him, once you've started the quest. And there's going to be now 5 boulders that we got to get into the position. And that'll reveal the sarcophagus of Otorongo. So you can see the plates right down there below me. And around this area, there's going to be one down by the plates, but 4 others kind of spread around the area. So I'm just going to drop down here. Let's just go take this first one and we'll drop it down here. Slowly. These things aren't very fast. Again, it could be the tether issue.
The forest mountains breaking, waves along the ocean shore.
Now, a lot of these you're going to have to pull a pretty good distance. That's why you do want to make sure you have the proper tether set up on your retraction grapple.
A big statue came out of the ground.
All right, so with that one in place, so I'm going to go to the very tall building over here. It's going to be up top. There's going to be some kind of club thing going on up here. Some sort of party. We're going to crash the party, literally.
Can you believe these people? Subjecting this priceless relic to such nonsense.
See, now you're seeing example of if you don't have the proper tether strength. It's hard to get it off the little pedestals that they're on. You have to kind of rock it a little bit and then time the tether. Oh, so close. All right, this thing is, as you probably have already figured out, is going to go crash right off the side of this building. It's going to roll into and across a street down below. So at this point, just take the boulder, put it on the plate over here. And once you've done that, we are going to move on to our third one.
Another statue.
Yes.
Just kind of going counterclockwise around this area. Of course, we're going to cross another street. So don't forget, the Javi quest line here that you're going to get, you'll have the ability to meet him for the first time after you help Sargento for the first time. So you'll see, I think it's after the first mission, you'll see the S on the map, a yellow S. If you do his little introductory quest, and he gives you the lift ability skill for the grapple, and then Javi will give you the retraction ability, and you can immediately do that quest after you do Sargento's first one. Alright, so this is boulder number 3. It's not very hard to find these things as they're clearly marked. After every time you put one of these things on the plate, a statue will actually pop up. And once we get all the statues pop up, that's when the sarcophagus of Otorongo will appear. But we have to do one more thing after we put these things all in position, which we'll get to in just a moment. All right, so we'll come up here. We're going to go ahead, pull this thing down eventually. This thing's going to take quite a long ride. If I don't crush myself in the process.
This is remarkable.
Which surprisingly I did not do once.
We're making history, Rico.
That seems like something I would do though.
Why are you out of breath?
Alright, so this thing's gonna weave and make its way all the way down.
No elevator?
At some point it's going to stop on a street. You're gonna have to pull it down to the street to eventually get to the park where all the plates are located. This thing takes quite a journey. Nice and convenient that this little ravine is here in a perfect downward incline. It looks like it just got stuck, of course. Nothing a little tether won't fix, though. Once it's got momentum, it's really easy to move. If you're using the single tether method. Alright, I promised you a road. Here is a road. Again, you're going to have to pull this all the way down to the end of this road. It's going to stop here in just a moment. At the end of the road is where the park, where all the plates are located, so we could just go ahead and skip ahead on that. Put it in place. And the final one, before we get to the next step of this quest. This one's pretty far away as well, but it does have a short, direct path to its final resting place.
For centuries, we've been told these giant heads were mere curiosities.
Now this one I used a couple of the balloons to kind of help me get lifted up and over this pedestal. You shouldn't have to do that if you had the tether set up proper.
This is the last one.
Your retraction tether, rather.
Tomb is revealed. We should be ready. We may need to leave in a hurry.
Alright, this thing's gonna roll through its own little tunnel. And it's gonna roll right into the park. As you can see, it's just ahead. At this point, just go ahead and put this thing on. Now, the final thing we're gonna do, all the statues we're gonna raise. The sarcophagus of Otorongo is going to pop up, and Javi's gonna tell you to get a vehicle with one passenger seat. So I'm gonna grab this truck right here. I'm going to grab the sarcophagus. Make sure you set the tether strength to low. You don't want it fast. Otherwise you risk the sarcophagus flying away. With it tethered to the truck, we are just going to get to the extraction point. There's going to be a helicopter. There's going to be a cutscene with a little twist to the whole story if you are following it. And I will just let you guys watch this on your own. Basically, just get to the extraction point. You will get the Knowledge is Power trophy. Do me one favor, just hit that like button and subscribe. And hope you enjoy the rest of the video if you want to stick around. Thank you for watching.
Up here. One of my men is coming with a helicopter.
Hostile hasn't re-engaged. Eyes open for further contact.
Increíble. It's a woman. The fiercest leader of one of the most advanced cultures of the ancient world was not a king, but a queen. A star chart. Constellations. Look at the detail. A deed. Transferring ownership of Solis to the Spanish for 2 pounds of silver. What's that?
It's a journal, written in Spanish.
That's very interesting. The oils on your skin.
Hey, what about the oils on your skin?
Dios mío. Otorongo's final days. It describes how her entire family was assassinated one by the conquistador Diego Espinosa de Malaga. This rewrites all of Solis' history. The indigenous peoples were not a warlike tribe of barbarians, but a highly scientific, progressive, and matriarchal society. Gracias. Gracias. Gracias, Rico. Bueno, ayúdame. We'll have to get this someplace safe. There's so much work to be done. There's so much left for you to teach me, Su Majestad.
Nice picture. Could be better though.